couple summers ago, I ripped out our giant back deck and put down an even more enormous paver patio. It took me 2 months and I moved tons and tons and tons of material all by myself. And by the end, I was pretty much exhausted. So some areas I left a little bit unfinished. There's some areas we're just not happy with. So now we feel like it's finally time that I finish off this backyard project. And I'm gonna start this final phase by putting in a little toad pond back there. I don't know if a toad pond is a real thing, but it'll be a little pond and we're kind of hoping some toads get attracted to it. Let's see how I do. I should have cleaned up the dog poop before I did this. Ugh. I got this bad boy from the website Half Off Ponds. Came across it randomly when I was searching for a kit that would give me everything I need to make my own little backyard pond. I got the 20 by 7 foot version. So I made a mistake and I realized it shortly after filming this. I bought a pondless waterfall kit when really what I wanted was a pond kit with a waterfall. A pondless kit is just a water feature where there's a waterfall and the water just flows in and disappears into a pile of rocks. I didn't want that, I want a pond. So I boxed it up and sent it back, and while I wait for the correct kit to arrive, I'll start digging. One thing to point out, make sure you call and have your service lines marked before you ever start digging. Of course, my electric line is running right where I was planning on digging, so I'm gonna have to modify a little bit. I'll have to push the deeper part of the pond beyond that. But as I wait for my new kit to arrive, I might as well start excavating. I know I've got white lines like all over the place because I'm so indecisive, but I've come to the final shape. So I'll dig a lot of this up. There'll be the pond, the rocks around it, there'll be a fountain at one end. Then I'll add some more rocks around and I'll finish it off with some plants. I highly recommend if you're doing about this size or larger, you should probably have a second person helping you. This has been brutal. I want to talk about the rocks and boulders for a sec. I've searched all week for some boulders that would kind of complement the stone that's on our house, which is very orange and brown, very warm tones. I can't find anything anywhere close to me. So I'm gonna be honest, I'm not buying boulders for this project. I'm gonna try and reuse some that I already have on the property. There used to be this monstrous grill in the backyard that I took down when I did the patio. I've been using them as edging around all of our beds. I'm gonna see if I can use those, see if I have enough to just use them in my pond. And then I'll have to get some new edging later. I'm kind of thinking at this point, I didn't go quite deep enough, so I'm gonna do a little bit more digging, just to go a little bit deeper and to widen the pond a little bit. So let's get digging again. So I pretty much finished digging out the pond, but I haven't checked my levels at all, so I need to see how level my pond is. And it looks like this side's a little bit higher. Long ways is what I'm a little worried about. This side is higher, which means when the water level is up high over here, it's gonna be low over here, which we don't want. So I'm gonna dig things out and try and level it out a little bit before I move on with the project. All right, so I'm pretty much level throughout the pond. Not perfect, but we're close. Oh boy. Oh yeah. All right, so the new kit is here. Let's see what we got. The waterfall, this will go under the liner. Comes with a faux rock top to go over the skimmer. Spray foam, spotlight, that's cool. The pump, got tubing. Oh my God, there's the liner. The skimmer, installation guide, that's helpful. So the next thing I need to do is dig a hole for the skimmer. So I'll mark where I'm gonna dig that hole. Okay, I thought I was all set. Then I noticed something. The hole for the tubing is on this side of the skimmer, which I didn't notice until just now. That's not gonna work for me because I have this side very close to my patio here. So I'm gonna need to dig this hole further over so I've got room to get the pipe in and have it come around. All right, so I think I'm good enough here. I'm level front to back. Pretty darn level left to right. All right, so I'm gonna backfill slowly around here. I'll keep the level on it so I can keep an eye on it. It said it came with Teflon tape, though I can't find any in all the bags, so luckily I had my own, but I'm gonna start putting together the waterfall, the tubing, the plumbing for this thing. So we're just gonna wrap the threaded end in some Teflon tape, screw it into there, the hose will go there, and go all the way to the skimmer. Teflon tape. And we're just gonna screw this in. So I just figured out you need PVC, sealer, and cement in order to attach the hose to the waterfall kit. I don't have any, so I need to get it. I might dig the trench for the hose for now, and then I'll go get the cement later. So the next morning, we're gonna put the liner on. We gotta attach it to the waterfall and the skimmer, and then we can start rocking it in, and I'm hoping today we can get this thing filled up. All right, we're gonna start by putting the underlayment down. All right, so that's down. So now let's put the liner in. So I put some dirt around the waterfall weir to lock it into place. Now I'm gonna attach the liner to the face of the weir. And basically there's gonna be this bracket that holds it in that screws on and holds it into place, and then I'll cut out this part right here. Put a bead of silicone around the rim there. Didn't do a very good job, it's pretty messy, but it'll do the trick. The wind's killing me today. It's blowing there it goes. Blowing everything all over the place. When you put the skimmer door on, you want to make sure you put it on the right way so it can open and close. Put a bead of silicone on, and then try and get the door in place. I use these two nails to hold it in place as I punctured the first two top screws, and now I can just go ahead and screw the rest in. Silicone's already on. I'll pull these nails out and put screws there. There were 2 holes on the skimmer, right there and there. The rest, no holes, you're puncturing yourself. All I have to do now is cut the opening. Now the skimmer can skim. Next thing to do is start putting some rocks in here. Pretty much have all rocks in place. I'm gonna start foaming in the waterfall. So I'm gonna spray foam in any cracks I see, let it dry a little bit, and then I'll pack some pea gravel on top of it. After spraying the foam, I waited about 15 minutes before placing rocks on it, and that was too long. The foam had already hardened to a point where it was not sticky anymore, so the rocks just bounced right off of it. So I sprayed on more foam and added rocks immediately. But that was also wrong because the foam was too wet, too messy, and as I put rocks on it, the foam splattered everywhere. I'm gonna be honest, I got frustrated yesterday. The weather was crazy, the wind was blowing, it was cold, but I also struggled with the spray foam. So even though it looks like I'm done, I'm actually gonna take apart my waterfall and start over with that part of the build because I just don't like how it turned out. I mean, there's just spray foam all over the place. It looks disgusting. Terrible job by me. Another way I messed up yesterday. is I tried to go cheap. I tried to leave enough rocks around the edging of the house to where I wouldn't have to replace the edging, but I left some really nice rocks behind. These have to go in the pond. Can't go cheap, so I'll just have to deal with replacing the edging. I ended up, the waterfall stone I was using fell into the basin, so I decided to make it a stepping stone, and then I just totally rebuilt the waterfall. But it's getting ready to rain here, so I'm gonna stop for the day, but I got pretty far and I did a much better job with the foam. Went ahead and hooked up the pump. I ordered this fake stone lip, which I glued on using pond foam. I also bought this fake stone cover for the waterfall. It just sits on there. Planted some sweet flag throughout. I just put some pebbles around the base. Trying to fill it up for the first time. Make sure it holds water. I'm gonna fill it up because I know I'm gonna have to drain it a couple of times to get all the dirt out because all these rocks were dirty. Okay, the second time I filled it up, it already looks a bit clearer. I'm dying to see the waterfall, see if it works. There we go. I hear sounds. It's working. A lot of dirt going in the water from the stones, but it's a pretty nice flow. My wife just told me she doesn't like the stepping stone, so I'm gonna have to get rid of the stepping stone. It does look weird, so I'll get it out of there. Hopefully this is the last day of the pond build. The pond's been running for a couple days now and it actually cleared up really quick. You can see the water's almost crystal clear. It was like that the next morning. I never had to drain it again. So this filter's done a nice job clearing out the gunk. Now I'm gonna work on the sides of the pond. Time to start landscaping around it. So I've cut the grass along the edge. I'll fill the valley here with either mulch or gravel. I haven't decided yet. I started replanting the hostas that I dug up at the beginning. They, for the most part, stayed alive, so hopefully they come back strong as I get them back in the ground and with some fresh dirt and water. Did you see those fake lily pads that my wife put in? I don't know if we can keep them in there. It's all done. Took 3 weekends with a few extra nights mixed in after work, and it looks awesome. It took part of our patio, which was just nothing but pea gravel and a few random hostas, and it became a real feature. And we enjoy sitting next to it. We enjoy watching it from inside as different birds and animals come check it out. One last thing I want to talk about is how much did this cost me and how much did I save by doing it myself. I got a quote from a local shop. It was almost $15,000 to install a similar sized pond. I was able to do this for just over $1,200. Now, if I had had to purchase boulders, I probably would have been looking at more like $2,200, $2,500, something like that. Some things I learned along the way. The rocks I used, the ones I found on the property, they were free, so that's cool, but they don't look terribly natural. They're kind of small. So if I were ever build another pond, and I gotta be honest, I do want to build another one, a bigger one, deeper one that maybe I can put fish in. If I do that, I'm gonna buy boulders. I'm gonna get big ones, medium-sized ones, so there's more of a variety of stone throughout the pond. When it comes to the waterfall, next time around I'm gonna put a little bit more thought into that. I just kind of created a big pile of rocks right there after that big rock didn't work. And they've kind of settled a little bit over the first few days of running it. It still looks fine, it works fine, but in the future I would plan it out a little bit more and maybe create some shelves that I can put the rocks on so that they're sitting exactly where I want them and they're gonna stay right where I want them. Some other things I did, I put some landscape glue in the pea gravel and the mulch that are around the pond, hoping that it all stays in place, and when I'm blowing off the patio or mowing the lawn, they aren't blowing into the pond. And one last thing, if you want to put a water lily in your pond, make sure you get the right species. I bought one that I found at Menards for like 10 bucks, but after I dropped it in, I realized that it needs like 2 to 3 feet of depth to grow properly. I don't have 2 to 3 feet of depth in this pond, so I need a dwarf species, which I ordered online, and I'll swap that one out for the dwarf species that arrives. And basically you just put in a pot on the bottom and it'll grow to the surface, and you'll get some lily pads and some flowers and things like that. So, but overall, I love it. I'm glad I built it. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned something. And remember, if Buck can do it, you can do it.